compete with Prabhupada's program.
Yeah, well, that's what I say.
It's interesting, the gardenias we grow here don't tend to have those little black bugs in them that most gardenias have, which is very nice. Is this fresh water, Ishwar? Yeah, I just want.
Not fresh.
It's not fresh. Okay, why don't you give it to one of the plants? And, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrajikacharya, Asatara Satyashri Srimadis Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. Mathura Dhama Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai. Gangamaya Jamuna Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvisesa Sanyavadi Paskachade Shatarane Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Panchakalpachubhischa Kripasindabhyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. May 31st, 2026, Hillsborough, North Carolina, New Goloka. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 74, Text 19. Arhati Yuta Shras. It's funny how I practice this. Yachuta, yeah, but it's funny, I practice it, and then sometimes I get up here and I can't do it. Arhati Yachuta Shrestyam Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Eshavai Devata Sarva Deshakala Danadaya. Please chant. Arati Yachuta Shrestam Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Eshavai Devata Sarva Deshakala Danadaya. Arhati Yachuta Shrestyam Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Eshavai Devata Sarva Deshakala Danadaya. Any ladies? Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Eshavai Devata Sarva Deshakala Danadaya. Arhati deserves, he indeed, Achyutaha, infallible Krishna, Shraisyam, the supreme position, Bhagavan, the supreme Lord, Sattvatam, of the Yadavas, Patihi, the chief, Eshaha, he, Vai, certainly, Devataha, demigods, Sarvaha, all, Desha, the place for the sacrifice, Kala, the time, Dhana, the material paraphernalia, Adayaha, and so on. So this is the Pandava Sahadev speaking in favor of Krishna getting the first worship at the Rajasuya Yagya. BBT translation, Sahadev said, certainly it is Achyuta, the supreme personality of Godhead and chief of the Yadavas, who deserves the highest position. Shreshtam literally means that. Stam means a place, and Shresh means the highest, so the highest place. In truth, he himself comprises all the demigods worshipped in sacrifice, along with such aspects of the worship as the sacred place, the time, and the paraphernalia. Srila Prabhupada from Krishna book. When the matter remained undecided, Sahadev began to speak in favor of Lord Krishna. He said, Lord Krishna, the best among the members of the Yadu dynasty and the protector of his devotees, which is two different meanings of the word sattvatam, is the most exalted personality in this assembly. Therefore, I think that he should, without any objection, be offered the honor of being worshipped first. Although demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, and many other exalted personalities are present in this assembly, no one can be equal to or greater than Krishna in terms of time, space, riches, strength, reputation, wisdom, renunciation, or any other consideration. Prabhupada there is indirectly referring to the word Bhagavan in the Sanskrit, as well as the separate listings of Devata Sarva and Deshakala and Dana. Going on with Prabhupada's words, anything considered an opulence is fully present in Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, Sahadev said, Achyuta factually possesses supremacy, Shraishyam, in both the absolute and relative sense. It goes without saying. That's always an interesting saying, isn't it? It goes without saying. It goes without saying that Krishna is supreme among all demigods, sacred places, time, and wealth. Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary, Krishna alone, Eva, deserves the highest position, since he is always full of all qualities, Achyutaha. He then shows why. He is the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan, and protects the devotees, Sattvatam Patihi. You can see Prabhupada's referencing Sanatana Goswami's commentary in his own Krishna book. Or he achieved excellence by appearing in the Yadu dynasty, so Sattvatam can mean both, to reveal his unlimited powers. Vai means certainly. Adaya indicates priests and others. Adi means and so forth, like etc. Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary. Krishna alone, Eva, deserves the highest position, since he is always full of all qualities, achyutaha. He then shows why. He is full of all powers innately, and moreover, he is the master of the devotees, who are also most worthy of worship. Or, so he's looking again at Sattvatam, or he is the Lord of the Yaduvas, Swayam Bhagavan. He who is most famous, Eshaha, which is interesting. Eshaha can mean most famous, and it can also just mean this. And the BBT translation just translates it as he, is the total of all devatas, place, time, and articles and sacrifice by his Shakti. Bhishma and others also designated Krishna as the first to be worshipped. This is mentioned in the Sabda Parva of Mahabharata. Bhishma also explains the procedure for selection in other circumstances. Acharyam ritvijam chaiva samyuktam cha yudhishthira. Snatakam cha priya cha tu sad argyarham nipantata. Listen, translation of that is, listen, O Yudhisthira, the preceptor, the sacrificial priest, the relative, the snataka, the friend, and the king are the six that deserve argya. Argya is a kind of worship. It also literally means like a hand washing. When Swayam Bhagavan is personally present, these considerations are not taken first. Later, Bhishma says that Krishna is the most worthy of worship. Arhati yachuta shreshtyam Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi Esha Vai Devata Sarva Deshakala Dana Dayaha. Sahadev said, certainly it is Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Chief of the Yadavas, who deserves the highest position. In truth, he himself comprises all the demigods worshipped in sacrifice, along with such aspect of the worship as the sacred place, the time, and the paraphernalia. So sometimes in ISKCON temples, people don't know who to worship first with like the ghee lamp and the flower and stuff, right? Have you seen that? Like, in some temples, they just go in spatial order. Like, they'll just start with whatever man is at front by the deities, and they'll go to the back of the men, and then they'll give to the woman in the back, and she'll go from the back to front to the women, just like, geographical procession. And sometimes people are looking around, okay, let's give first to the senior person. Then what do you do if there's several senior persons, and how do you decide who's the most senior? Right, so I've had the situation of going to places where I'm the only disciple of Srila Prabhupada when I'm visiting, but in case you haven't noticed, I'm in a female body this time around. And so people aren't quite sure if they should offer me first because I'm senior in terms of initiation or I'm junior in terms of gender. And they get really confused. And I never help them out. I never give them any advice. I just watch their confusion and humor. So they'll be like, okay, do I give the ghee lamp first to Urmila because she's a Prabhupada disciple, or do I do the men first because she's a woman? And they can't figure out, who should I respect first? Right? This situation also comes up like when there's a lot of speakers at an event, like who should be worshipped first. If I had the time, I would tell you of a very funny story from Sao Paulo. Maybe I'll just tell you briefly. So we were inaugurating a new preaching center in Sao Paulo, and by Krishna's tricks, I was there. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be in South Africa, but because I didn't have a yellow fever vaccine, they wouldn't let me board the plane from Brazil to South Africa. Prabhupada had the same problem with the yellow fever vaccine. So I had to not board the plane, get a yellow fever vaccine, and wait in Brazil another 10 days. I happened to be there. And we had some dignitary was there from all the major embassies in Sao Paulo and all the religious leaders. So we had people, the Muslim leader, the Roman Catholic leader, the Protestant leader, the Buddhist leader. We had somebody from like the Korean embassy and so forth. And they only had a limited number of garlands. So first there was a visiting sannyasi. He spoke. He had a garland. Then as the visitor, I next spoke, and I had a garland. Then the temple president spoke. He had a garland. And then one of the visitors spoke, and he had a garland. And there weren't deities there. There was like an altar with pictures. So the altar with pictures was here, and perpendicular to that there were chairs, and there were 3 chairs. In the middle one was the temple president. To his right, I was sitting. To his left, a Bengali brahmachari was sitting. And I turned to the temple president, and I said, who is this speaking? Is he somebody special? And he said, no, he's just one of the delegates. I said, well, why does he have a garland? He said, I don't know. I said, are there enough garlands for everybody? And he said, no. And Brazil is, the culture in Brazil is very non-hierarchical. They have what we call, in sociological terms, a low power distance. So you don't have like external demonstrations of status. And I said, well, if he's not special and he has a garland and all the other people don't have a garland, they're going to be offended. They're all equal or greater dignitaries. They'll be offended. And this, native Brazilian just kind of shrugged his shoulders. It doesn't matter. So the Bengali brahmachari, because in Bengal they have a very high power distance. Not as much as Indonesia, but very high. So he's having a complete meltdown, quietly, because the speech is going on. And he's going, we can't do this, we're going to offend everybody. No one's going to, instead of this opening being our way to have good relations with everybody, it's going to have bad relations with everybody. The temple president's like, don't worry about it. But because he had a high power distance, this Bengali, he's going to submit to the temple president, who says, don't worry about it. But me as a New Yorker, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to the temple president. So I asked the temple president, I said, give me your garland. I took his garland, and I kind of snuck off the stage. And I put the temple president's garland and my garland back in the box, and I went to the sannyasi, and I said, can I get your garland? And put it back in the box. So then we had 3 garlands in the box. And then I went to everybody in the temple, and I said, everybody, come on, let's make garlands. And we took every flower that was in the cooler and every flower that was in the garden. And I even went on the stage and put my back to the altar while people were speaking, and I took the vases off the altar and hid them on my back and walked out sideways to take those flowers. And then we had everybody possible just stringing garlands like this. And thankfully, the Muslim emissary spoke for 25 minutes and gave us enough time to make. I'm sure the people in the audience were just going, when is this guy going to shut up? And I'm thinking, keep talking. So we can make garlands, and everybody got a garland. Everybody. It was about 35, 40 people, and everybody got a garland. We had 1 garland left over. Of course, they were all very different. Some people had completely red roses, some people had marigolds, some people had all mixed. It was all different. But it's very important, so I didn't end up telling you the whole story. It's very important, who's respected in what order and how people are respected. It's important for blessings, but it's also important just for etiquette. Right? People can become, just like Daksha got offended when Lord Shiva didn't stand up to welcome him. Mars was talking the other day about Ramaharshan Sutta, how he didn't know to respect Balaram. But of course, this point is also important in our lives as to who are we putting first. Who's first in our life? Is Krishna an add-on, or is he first? So there's a demonstration I saw, and I wish I could actually demonstrate this physically. I have a video of it that I show in some of my classes. So this guy has an empty container. I actually saw this live. It sees this live, it's like, whoa. And then he had a container full of sand, a container full of pebbles, and a container full of large rocks. And he talked about the large empty container as the amount of time and energy we have in a day. And the sand is little piddly things. They need to get done, but they're not so important. If they don't get done, nothing's going to collapse. And the pebbles are kind of medium importance. If they don't get done today, there'll be some consequence, but not major. And the rocks are the big things that are really important, really have to get done. So first he puts the sand in, fills it up about halfway with sand. Then he puts the pebbles in, fills it up another like quarter way. And then he puts the rocks in. He can't fit all the rocks in. Then he empties out the container and does it again. First he puts in the big rocks. Then he puts in the pebbles that kind of fill the gaps. And then he puts in the sand, fills all the gaps, and everything fits. You know, we're never going to finish in our life unless we have absolutely nothing to do, I suppose. But we're never going to finish in our life everything that we'd like to do in one life. That's just not going to happen. We're not going to get all of our desires fulfilled in one life, materially speaking, which is why we keep taking so many lives. So our question is, what do we put first? Who's first? Who do we worship first? Who do we make sure is taken care of first? And that should be Krishna. To put Krishna first. Now that doesn't mean that we neglect others, but that Krishna is always the center. Krishna is always the center. Like I always like to tell the story about how when I was sitting in the room with Srila Prabhupada in 76, that was when Prabhupada came for the first Rath Yatra. In a few days they're going to be having the 50th anniversary of that. So it was for the first Rath Yatra, and our son Murari was sitting in my lap. He was not quite 2. And Prabhupada looked at me and he said, just like this mother is loving her son without expectation of return, so one should love Krishna. And my father asked Prabhupada, will loving her son help her to love Krishna? Prabhupada said, no, but loving Krishna will help her to love her son. So when I put Krishna first, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who surrenders to him, one who does actual yoga, is not bereft of the results of fruitive activities, philosophical speculation, and other things. All of those things are included if you put Krishna first. And if we don't put Krishna first, then we're going to end up at the end disappointed. All right, why should we put Krishna first? So we have a whole list here given by Sahadev, that he's Achyuta, that he's the sum of all the devas, that he's Sattvatam Patihi, the Lord of the devotees, of the truthful ones, or of the Yadavas, that he is the most sacred place, that he's the perfection of time, and that he's the highest wealth. So these are his reasons given. So we'll look briefly at each of them. So Achyuta, he never falls down. He's infallible. Maharaj talked the other day about the fallible soldiers. When I was a kid, I had a cousin who liked to play with toy soldiers. They're all green plastic. I don't know whether they're green, like camouflage color or something. Anyway, they're just green plastic. So whenever I would go to my aunt and uncle's house and I wanted to play with my cousin, who was about the same age, I had to play with the green soldiers, although I wasn't particularly into that. So those little green plastic soldiers, they can't actually protect you. Right? If some robber breaks into your house, you can't line up your little plastic green soldiers and expect them to do anything. And generally, who do we put first? The green plastic soldiers. First, I'm going to take care of my body. First, I'm going to take care of my mind. First, I'm going to take care of my family and friends. First, I'm going to take care of my things, and then Krishna. But all those are plastic soldiers. Are our bodies fallible? Are our bodies fallible? Every day do we hear about someone having an accident or a disease or dying, right? Are our minds fallible? Anybody's mind do exactly what you want it to do? Our family and friends, are they always there for us perfectly the way we would like? Our things, are they always there for us perfectly the way we would like? They're all fallible. So he doesn't fall down. Right? He's not going to leave us. He's always there for us. Right? In Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 11, Krishna being called Achyuta, Prabhupada says, the Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees. He's always there for us, always taking care of us. And he always figures everything out, even when he appears to be bewildered, like, what do I do because my friends are going into Agasura? Or what do I do when this unknown man seems to kill my father in front of me? You know, he always figures it out. I'm going to visit Shrudadev and the king of Bahulasva at once. I'm going to dance by every gopi at the same time. Right? He never fails to come up with a perfect solution to everything all the time, and he's always with us, and he always takes care of us. His prime duty of protecting the devotees, guess what? That means he's putting us first. Isn't that weird? God's putting us first. Good reason to put him first. Next thing, he's the chief or sum of all the devas, of all the devatas. So generally we think that we're going to go to famous, rich, powerful people to get what we want. We'll make friends with people in position of power, position of authority. Right? We see that going on very clearly in today's government in America, that you've got to be friends with the people running the government. Of course, as I was reading, one commentator said, the people running the present government, they want you to be loyal to them, but they're not going to be loyal to you. They'll turn on you at any moment, which is why Chanaka Pandit says, don't trust politicians. You think, okay, I'm going to be loyal to them, they'll take care of me. So the demigods are like that too. They can turn on you. They can give you benedictions that are harmful for you. You go to the demigods, give me this, give me that. They don't consider, is this going to be helpful to you? Like some rich person that gives their kids, fancy cars and money and doesn't think, okay, what's the kid going to do with all of this? Is it really going to benefit them? So if we put them first, they may not put us first. They may not be thinking of us. They may not be powerful enough. But Krishna is the sum of all the demigods. They're all coming from him. They're all his energies. They're all his servants. And he can defeat them. Several instances in the Bhagavatam where Krishna defeats Lord Shiva, right, in the fight with Banasura, or where he's able to help Lord Shiva out of difficulty with Vrikasura or with the aerial mansions of the demons. He can defeat Indra. And the demigods can only give what he allows anyway. They have to check with him. And if they don't check with him, they get in trouble with him. Like the Lord gave Brahma a hard time. He says, why are you giving these benedictions to the demons that then cause all these trouble? Right? Why not go to the source? And then Sattvatam Patihi. Interesting word. Patihi means the husband, the chief. And Sattva, Sat means what is true, what is real, what is good. Reality. Sat means reality, what is eternal. And Twa means like ness, like goodness, or what's the nature of truth, the nature of reality, realityness. Truthfulness, what's full of truth, what's full of reality. So Sattvatam Patihi, he is the Lord of what is true, of those who are full of truth, those who are full of reality, those who are full of the good. And this means that he's always true. Prabhupada liked to use the word absolute truth. I've heard some people object to that, saying that that term means that we're sectarian, that we're saying we're the only ones who are absolutely true and everybody else is relative truth. But that's not what it means. It means that Krishna he's always true. He's always reality in all time, all place, all circumstances. And knowing what's reality is very important in our life. So I give this example all the time, that in this room, if we want egress and ingress, if we want to get in and out of this room, we have to go through the door, right? If you try to go through the wall, it won't work very well. And it's interesting. This looks like a door, but it is no longer a door. It is now a window, right? And try to go out of here, and you're going to have a problem. And that thing that looks like a door, too, is not a door anymore. It's also become a window. So it's not that these things are done by the builder or the architect to cause us suffering. The architect doesn't think, let me put a wall here for people to walk into and get bruised. That's not what they're thinking. So if I work in accord with reality, I'm happy. The reality is I go in and out of doors, not in and out of windows, or these windows. That would be interesting. Try to go in and out of that window. You'd really get hurt. Not in and out of walls. So it's good to know what's real and what's true. You ever seen a bug try to get in and out of a room through a window and die? And you try to help it out and get it to the door, and it just fights you constantly? Right? You're holding this little bug, and the bug is like, but you're actually trying to get it to reality. So knowing what's always real is knowing how we're going to best function. And Krishna is always real. He's not sometimes real. He's not real in some circumstances. He's not sometimes a door and sometimes a window. He's always the truth, which may not be true of our other shelters. And he's always the leader of those who live in truth. So he's the leader of the devotees, who are also called the sattvatas, who are always in truth, always in reality. Here our acharyas say that this also means he's the head of the yadus, who are also devotees. So anyone who wants reality, Krishna is the ultimate reality. You want truth, Krishna is the ultimate truth. You want goodness, Krishna is the ultimate good. You want what is eternal, Krishna is the ultimate eternal. And he's a sattvatam also. Some nice qualities of Krishna in terms of being sattvatam pati is he's always grateful. I mean, Krishna's gratitude is extreme. He's grateful to Putana because she appears to be a mother. He's grateful to demons who meditate on him in anger. Like, that's an extreme amount of gratitude. The tiniest speck of something towards him, he's grateful. And he's very dependable. Srila Rupa Goswami says even the demons know that if they follow the rules, they're not going to get punished. Not like these religions that say, if you don't believe in me, you burn eternally. And he's also sattvatam in that he's all honorable. To be honorable is to always do the right thing. Even when it's difficult, even when it's painful, Krishna will always do what is right. Then he should also be worshipped first because he's the most sacred place, Desha. We say that the Lord's place and the Lord are not different from each other. That the temple here and the deity are the same. Prabhupada said, of course here we have a laminate floor, but like in India they tend to have marble floors because it's a hot country. Sometimes in cold countries, devotees build temples with marble floors, which never makes the slightest bit of sense to me. But if you have when you have a marble floor, Prabhupada will say, if you're cleaning the floor or you're bathing the deity, it's equal. Right? When we take care, here's my little paid political announcement, when we take care of the temple property, that's equal to take care of the deities. Picking up trash, not creating trash, pulling weeds, and so forth. Maintaining the buildings, right? Maintenance is in the mode of goodness. And what's the word for goodness? Sattva. Well, look at that. So the place, Krishna is all sacred places. He is literally that, in that Vrindavan is an expansion of himself. He's literally that as Govardhan Hill, which is him himself, lying down on the ground of Vrindavan to use his body to serve the devotees. And he sanctifies any place. If his devotees sanctify any place a devotee goes becomes a tirtha. What to speak of the Lord? He is himself all sacred places. So people often put their place first, right? I'm going to make my country, that's I'm going to put as my first worship. Whatever your country is, if you're from Estonia first, if you're whatever it may be. Argentina first, Guyana first, Myanmar first. They put there in those Indian Mahabharat movies, a lot of the characters would say, Desh Prem. You have to have Desh Prem. You have to have love for your place. And it's so silly, really, isn't it? All of these geographical places are all artificial constructs. And it's just one piece of dirt, the piece of dirt on this side of the line and the piece of dirt on that. But because I've been born here, I'm a citizen, therefore it's first. But if we want to make a place first, make Krishna first. He's the best place. And that's our real home. That's our real origin. That's our real shelter, is that place. Krishna even says, I am the abode. I am the home. And he's time, kala. Right? We often put our time first, my time. I'm going to make sure of my time, like we own time. How ridiculous that we own time. It's my time. We think I own time, and we think the time I spend in spirituality is a generous donation to the Lord. The time I spend in work is the tax I have to pay to live. But time belongs to Krishna. People will say to me, oh, Urmila, thank you for giving me your time. I'm like, I don't own time. Time belongs to Krishna. My good friend Rukmini, not my god sister Rukmini, she likes to call Krishna the time being. Like we have a saying, I'll be with you for the time being. But Krishna is actually the beam of time, the being of time. When Arjuna says to Krishna, who are you? I am time. Just this morning, I was hearing Prabhupada, he was giving a lecture on teachings of Queen Kunti, and he was saying how Paramatma is Krishna in the form of time. Of course, Lord Shiva is also Krishna in the form of time. Krishna's glance is time. And time is what originally agitates the pradhan to form the modes of nature and all of the elements. And Krishna is also time in the form of death. Krishna is all-devouring death, not only the death, the final death of this body, the death of relationships, the death of a home, the death of a job, the death of an education. And Krishna says, I am the beginning, middle, and end of all beings, and I am the beginning, middle, and end of all things. And therefore, if we want to know how to allocate our time, we put Krishna first. And one of his qualities is he's the expert judge of time, place, and circumstance. And the evidence Srila Rupa Goswami gives for this is Krishna says, it's autumn, it's the full moon. We just had a full moon yesterday. It's the full moon, and the gopis are beautiful and full of love. We should have a rasa dance. So Krishna always knows how to bring together. You notice this in our life? Krishna knows how to bring together the time, place, and circumstance. I had some service that needed to be done. I was trying to get it done, trying to find people who could do it properly. And then someone I don't know, I've never had any connection with that I'm aware of, I don't even know how they got my email, emailed me and said, I'd like to offer some service. I'm good at this and this and this. And they were the perfect person to get the job done. Right? And we see Krishna brings things together like that. Why? Because he is time. And he is dhana. Not dana, but dhana. He is the highest wealth. People often put money first, right? And make money the center of their life. If you want to make money the center of your life, Krishna is the highest money. As I like to say when he's playfully arguing with Rukmini, he says, yes, I don't possess anything because I am everything. What does Krishna say? Everything that is beautiful, opulent, glorious, it's all but a what? Spark. What a nice meditation. Beautiful trees with their summer leaves, the gorgeous clouds, the birds, the beautiful buildings. You take everything glorious, everything that people spend money to go as a tourist to see, And if you could put that all in one place, and this is just one planet, and all the glories of all the planets, and put all of that together, anything full of wonder, the Northern Lights and Mount Everest and the Taj Mahal and anything, and you put it all together, it's just a spark of the glory and the wonder that is Krishna, the wealth that is Krishna. Again, I was hearing this morning, Prabhupada was saying the devotees have no material possessions because they possess Krishna. Even the richest people in the world, they have nothing compared to those who possess Krishna because he is wealth. All right, so what did we see? What were the different elements? We went over 6 of them, which is hard to remember. Anybody can remember why we should put Krishna first? Any of them? Any of the reasons that Sahadev gives? Achyuta, he never falls down. He's not a green plastic soldier. Any other reason? Supreme abode. Desha, another reason. I know, 6 things, it's hard to remember. I only do 3, but I wanted to do all the 6 that Sahadev mentioned. He's time. He's the place, yes. Well, 2 things. So those are really 2 separate things. So one is he's the chief of the demigods. All the demigods are included in him. And then he's also the chief of the, which is the Sanskrit here is? Sattva Tvam. He's the chief of all the truthful, all those who are fixed in truth, eternality, and goodness. He is the chief reality. Would we like to do things in accord with reality? Yes? We'd like to walk out of doors instead of walls? So that's that. We want to put Krishna first because when we put Krishna first, we can see the difference between a door and a wall. All right. So do we get everything? No, one more. Last one I talked about. Wealth. Wealth, that he's the highest possession. He's the highest possession. All right, so we have he's Achyuta, he's infallible. He's the chief of all the devas, any important, powerful person. He's the chief of all those who are steeped in reality, truthfulness, and goodness. He's the most sacred place. He is time, and he is wealth. So, maybe we can look, who am I bringing the ghee lamp to first? In my thoughts? Where do my thoughts go first? Who am I put first in my thinking? Who do I put first in my plans? Who do I put first in where I put my emotional investment? Who do I put first where I put my financial investment? Who do I put first in what I look forward to, what I'm hoping for? Who do I put first in terms of my time? Who do I put first in terms of my energy? Am I putting Krishna first? Questions, comments, additions, subtractions, chastisements? What's the main reason people won't put Krishna first? Well, they're putting themselves first. They're putting themselves first. Envy. Envy and fear. Envy and fear. I can do it better than Krishna. I'm smarter. Yes.
I have a question because the first thing that popped into my mind is that I think, yes, putting Krishna first mentally and spiritually, like in my heart and everything, because I do, I feel like that's really important. But then I also, my mind popped to the fact that the only way that I could obtain Krishna is through my spiritual master and putting him first and understanding how I can even have a relationship and love Krishna.
Very nice point. And so repeating for those online, in order to put Krishna first, one has to put one's spiritual master first. Therefore, we say higher than worship of Krishna is higher than the devotees. So I didn't talk about that because it wasn't in today's verse. It's not possible in one class on one verse to cover the whole gamut of everything. You have to. The worst class I ever attended was actually here. Some visitor for the Sunday feast who tried to explain the entire philosophy in 45 minutes and ended up explaining nothing. But yes, if you're going to actually put Krishna first, ultimately one can't even know how to do that without a spiritual master. Like, what does that mean? One will just concoct something. Oh yes, God is first. As I smoke my cigarette, I have met people like that. So without the guidance of Guru, without them being attached to the mission of Guru, there's no question of putting God first. Thank you. Thank you so much. And in light of that, anything that I've said about putting Krishna first is due to the mercy of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to say a word. So anything good in this presentation is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Any mistakes here are my own. Please take the good and leave aside the bad. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Pritimanti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami
Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam.
Amala Harinam Amira Vilasa Amala Harinam Amira Vilasa Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Pada Navina Nagara Vamshivadana Suvasa Vamshivadana Suvasa Rajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rakoya Hala Napalana Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara Sundara Nanda Gopala Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi Vasanakara Rasa Rasika Kripam Hoya Shira Rava Lava Vrindavana Nattavada. Shira Rava Lava Vrindavana Nattavada. Bhakati Vinoda Shaya Vinoda Shaya Bhakati Vinoda Shaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Land of Braja, the delight of Gokula, known by the nickname Kana, the wealth of the lives of the gopis, the attractor of Cupid and punisher of the serpent Kaliya. These pure, holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes. Lord of the 12 forests of Braja, ever youthful, the best of lovers, player of the flute, and excellent dresser, protector of the inhabitants of Braja, destroyer of demonic dynasties, keeper and tender of Nanda's cows, giver of pleasure to cows, land, and spiritual senses, husband of the goddess of fortune, butter thief, and beautiful little cowherd boy of Nanda Maharaj, wanderer of the Yamuna riverbanks, thief of the garments of the gopis, enjoyer of the mellows of the Ratha dance,
very merciful, lover and beloved of Sri Radha, the great dancer of Vrindavan and the only shelter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jai.
Jai, Haribol.
I bet you didn't expect that you would be leading.
Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Paranamita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami. Pretty stunning today. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amani Namana Dana Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Dhanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavan Budao Kripayata Vabadak Pankaja Stita Duli Sajashim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadashu Daraya Varanam Gad Gadarudaya Gira Pulakannishitam Vapukada Tavanama Grahaneba Vishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Adarshanam Marma Hatakarotuva Yatatatava Viradatu Lampato Mat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord.